So I'm running errands today. It's a lovely bright sunny day, but it is cold. It was very icy this morning. That seems to have dropped off a little bit, although I'll need to be careful in the lanes on the way back because some of those could still be a bit treacherous. Temperatures hovering around freezing I think at the moment, so not too bad, but I am prepared. I have, as you can see, my KEIS heated gloves. I've got the new extreme vest on underneath, plugged in down here to the 12-volt supply. I've got my little controller down here. So at the moment I've got my jacket and the gloves on medium, and I'm toasty warm. Honestly, if you've not tried the heated gear, give it a go. It makes winter riding so much better. On a day like today I'd have to be bundled up, you know, ridiculously to try to keep warm. As it is, I've got the G701 Shorty gloves, which are pretty thin and lightweight, but because they're heated they can be. Lots of heat on the back of my hand, controllable. I can obviously put the heated grips on as well, so that I get that on the palms too. Then I've got my Nox base layer on at the bottom. I've got the new extreme jacket, which is a little bit thicker, more heating elements. I've got that underneath this, and then just the Revit shell, so I don't feel bundled up. I'm not like kind of a Michelin man, but I'd be able to ride all day with that heat. And obviously the beauty is controlling it. If you're wearing layers and it starts to warm up, you've got to stop and take layers off or kind of suffer it. With this you just turn the heating up or down or turn it off. Brilliant. Absolutely has revolutionised winter riding for me, the KEIS gear.
So let me tell you about exactly what I was wearing and how it works, starting with the J505 RP Extreme Jacket. This is new in the KEIS range, and it's a progression on from the J501 RP jacket that I've been wearing for the last couple of years. KEIS say the 505 offers 25% more heating capacity, but I must admit I don't think the 501 felt like it needed any more anyway, but in very extreme cold conditions this would certainly make a difference. The heating elements in it cover the chest, the back, down the arms and on the collar as well. And I have to say that it does provide a really nice, comfortable, controllable level of heat. I would always recommend wearing a long sleeve base layer underneath that. That is all you will need. Speaking of control, the jacket does come with a free standard controller. You can upgrade or opt for an optional Bluetooth controller for an extra £22, but I'll be honest and say, although it does work well and the app is very good, you could probably do without this. If you've got the phone on your bars, does mean that you don't have to fiddle around trying to grab this and make changes to it whilst you're riding, which I wouldn't advise. But by the same token, I probably wouldn't advise using the Bluetooth app whilst you're riding either. So yeah, I've got it, I've tried it, it works really well, but you don't really need it. The controller plugs into a specific port in the jacket, and there is a cable that runs from there as well to connect directly to the bike, but more on that later. There are cables built into the sleeves to run down to power the gloves, so you don't have to worry about trying to run cables down the sleeves of your jacket. They're built into here, and you've got a little zip pocket that they can zip away into when not into use. That's a really nice touch. Now I have to say, I found this to be a very comfortable jacket to wear. It's thin and flexible enough to go under pretty much any jacket or outer shell. Having a closer fit offers better heat performance, so I would suggest going down at least one size from your standard size to get that snug fit. I'm normally an extra large, this is a large and it fits perfectly. The long elasticated cuff and the fleece lining on the inside of the collar just add to that comfort. Turning to the glove, the G701S Shorty is also relatively new in the range. It's been around for about a year, and this is an alternative to the standard 701, which is more of an over-the-cuff style glove. One thing that the 701 standard glove does have over the Shorty version is that there is a compartment in the cuff to be able to connect to battery. So if you want to run these gloves just from the battery packs and not from the power connected to the bike, then you'll have to go for the standard 701 gloves or the 601s. The 701 Shorties will only work when connected to the power, but I actually think these are a better option if you are going to be wearing them in conjunction with the heated jacket. The gloves themselves are made from a bonded textile material which does have certain benefits. The ballistic spandex outer shell is tough and water repellent, but this is backed up with a semi-bonded hypora membrane which makes them waterproof and breathable. They are also quite light and thin when compared to conventional winter gloves, and that translates into great flexibility and really good feel on the controls. Sizing is accurate, so go with your standard glove size and you won't have any worries. Let's just take a quick look at the connections before I talk about the actual performance of the products. To power the jacket and the gloves, you will need a direct connection to the bike. They draw too much current really to use a power pack, and it's not advised. There are a number of connection options. Each garment comes with a lead for connection directly to the battery terminals. If you prefer not to wire in directly, you can buy a cigarette style power lead that will also work with DIN sockets. If you already have an SAE connector on your bike for a battery charger, you can also buy an adapter to utilise that connection point. One quick thing to bear in mind is if you ride a BMW, you will already know that their cigarette lighter or DIN sockets are only rated to a maximum of 5 amps. The 505 jacket, for example, draws 6.5 amps, and if you add the gloves, that's a further amp on top of that. So Beamer owners, if you want to wear that combination, or if you want to power anything other than just gloves, you're going to have to connect directly to the bike. Each power lead is fitted with an inline fuse holder, and a set of spare fuses is included in the box. It's very important to make sure that you have the correct fuse in the inline holder to match that of the garments that you are heating. For example, if you connect a 505 jacket, 701 gloves and a pair of heated insoles, they will draw a current of 8.8 amps collectively. In this case, you'll need to fit a 10 amp fuse. If it's just the jacket and gloves, then a 7.5 amp fuse will be enough. Once all connected, operation is very simple. Press and hold the button on the controller until it powers up. The default setting is high. Press again to cycle through medium and low. Each glove has its own control button, and the process is exactly the same as the jacket. On the road, these items give a really lovely supply of heat. There's no hot spots in either garment, and they just make riding during the winter much more pleasurable. As I mentioned in the opening riding sequence in the video, there's no need to wear tons and tons of layers and bundle yourself up. So actually comfort and flexibility is enhanced from wearing these jackets. The gloves heat the back of the hands and down the fingers to the end. A few people have asked me, and I've had comments on some of my previous videos on this, is if the heating element goes across and over around the end of the tips of the fingers, and I can confirm that it doesn't. But that doesn't seem to make too much difference. I think there's a few logistical manufacturing issues with doing that, with the way that the fingers are generally stitched. Occasionally on really cold days, because you're holding the bars, you've got your fingers in that clenched position, you can start to feel the end of your fingers getting colder than the rest of your hands. To remedy that, just straighten your fingers out for a little bit, and the process of doing that starts to radiate the heat around. Now obviously you've got the option, if you've got heated grips, to switch those on as well, because there's no heating elements on the inside of the palm. You do have to be realistic with your expectations when wearing any heated gear. Putting this stuff on is not going to feel like leaning up against the radiator or sitting in front of an open log fire. It's not that same kind of feeling. You get this overall feeling of warmth across the whole of your body, and it keeps that cold at bay. Not having to deal with the cold and try to get yourself warm does mean that your concentration levels are much higher, you're not distracted by that, and you can fully focus on your riding. Anybody that's ridden in the winter will know that feeling. Once you start to lose body heat and you start to get cold, it's almost impossible to get that back unless you stop, go inside somewhere warm, or have a hot drink. The beauty of KEIS heated gear obviously is that you have control of that heat, adding it or removing it as necessary throughout your ride. Honestly, I've been using this gear for a few years now, and it really has changed the enjoyment that I get from riding in the winter. I've always ridden all year round. I do quite enjoy going out in the winter. Yeah, the road conditions may not be great, but generally it's quieter. If you get out into the countryside, I really do enjoy it on those nice crisp winter days. So if you haven't tried it, I definitely recommend giving some of the items a go. I'll leave links in the description for you to go away and have a look at their entire range. because there's a lot there and it grows all the time. I've just concentrated on these few items that I've been riding over the last few months, and I'm going to continue to ride through until the weather gets to the stage where I don't need to use them anymore. So definitely go and check those out if you're interested. I've got other videos on the channel as well, and the beauty with this stuff is that you don't have to just wear it on the bike. These would be great for skiing. You could just plug them into a battery pack in your jacket. When you're on the chair lifts and things start to get a bit chilly, boost them on, get a little bit of power, and away you go. If you're out on country walks, walking the dog, down by the beach, this works well. And actually they do also do a casual puffer jacket which can be powered from a battery pack, so that might work for a few of you as well. Anyway, that's all I've got to talk about on this. I hope you found it useful. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. And until next time, all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching. Take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.